Welcome to the Ryan Spelts podcast, and I am excited about this new little thing that I'm going to be doing. It is my podcast for the things that go through my head. I'm going to call it the marketing mind, because when you think about marketing all day, every day like I do, there's things that I come across and I think about that I just want everybody to know about. I want them to think about. You're not going to think about it on your own, and so I'm going to bring it up on the podcast and make it a part of what I teach and what I help everybody with. And so as those things come up, this will be a solo version of my podcast where I am the one speaking. And I don't know, maybe that'll end up being boring, but I just have a lot of things bouncing around in my head and I want to be able to do them. At first, it'll be focused on blog posts that I've made. And I blog every week. If you don't know that, you can go to ryanspelts.com and sign up to get my blog posts every week, or you can just subscribe to this podcast and or the YouTube channel and watch or listen, whatever's easiest for you to get the content in. So today we are going to cover the subject, everything you need to know about creating a content marketing plan that works. I always start every thought process with defining your who and your why, which we'll talk about those eventually as well. But you need to know who you're talking to. And when you're creating a content marketing plan, today's world, sometimes the only thing missing in SEO for your business is just content that's relevant and focused on your business and your specialty, especially keyword laden content. So blogs are still extremely valuable. Not that a ton of people are going to read your blog or that it's going to be, this Pulitzer Prize winning article, but it should be content rich. It should talk about your business in real language, but it should also be keyword heavy. So it should talk about your primary keywords. We'll talk about how to research those in another podcast. But today we're going to talk about creating content and a content marketing plan that will deliver results for your business. So do you have a content plan, or are you just winging it? Do you have something in mind? Do you know what your content should be focused on? If you're not particularly good at creating content, then I encourage you to hire someone to create content for you. Connection Media Company does content creation. So we're one of those that you can hire. In fact, we have a special right now where we're doing $400 for 4 blog posts a month. And we'll do all the research, figure out all the keywords, write the blog posts, and put them up for you. So that's an option as well. But if you'd like assistance, let us know. We're happy to help. But we want to help you first identify your target audience. It is not everybody. I just heard yesterday someone said, my audience is every female from age 18 to 65. And I was like, that is not true. You got to get more narrow on your target audience. We'll talk about that, like I said, later. Now, first off, if you don't have a digital copy of this yet, I recommend going and getting it. You can go to connectionpub.com/playbook, and it has that book. You can access it. I'm going to make sure that it might be Marketing Playbook. Yeah, it's not Playbook, so let's try Marketing Playbook. I want to get you the right. Yeah, so go to connectionpub.com/marketing playbook. It's a free download, and you can get a copy of this. The reason this is valuable, it's a book that I wrote, but it also has within it a bunch of theme ideas for each month. So if you're kind of struggling to know what to come up with or how to angle it or what ways to influence your advertising for the month, I highly recommend the book because it just gives you a ton of ideas and content that you can use for your for your marketing and for your content plan. So why do you need a content marketing plan? Well, content marketing is a crucial component to any successful marketing strategy. It involves creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience, and then hopefully drive that audience to come and do business with you. And search engines place a ton of emphasis and importance on good content. They're looking constantly for content. If you wanted to read about water heaters, for example, and you searched up water heaters on Google or Bing or whatever search engine you use, would you rather see an article that was written in 2018 or an article that was written in 2023? So consistently refreshing your article is also important, even if it's some of the same material that you had before, but especially if anything has changed in that industry. Digital marketing, for example, changes all the time. And so I am constantly writing. I write every week. There's plenty of information to talk about in my business, in the marketing world, and I'm sure there is in your world too. Any kind of new developments or technologies that come out, those are things that you can talk about. It gives you prominence, it gives you relevance, it gives you what the search engines are looking for. If you're a local business, it also helps with proximity. So it'll help your Google Maps ranking so that you can show up to those who are looking for you directly on Google Maps. So first of all, remember, define your who. Second of all, define your why. Your why is not, in this case, it's not necessarily the reason why you went into business or the business that you're in. That's great. I encourage that as well, understanding your why. But your why in this case is your marketing why. Why do people do business with you? What's special about you? What's your unique selling proposition? Your individual identifier that makes you stand out from the crowd and makes you different from everyone else who does the same thing that you do. Now, if you're in a low competition world, that means you probably have to educate. If you're in a high competition world, that means you need to establish authority. You need to show how you are the authority and you're different and more valuable. You can get who and why worksheets. These are free worksheets that we developed that help people define their who and define their why. You can get those at connectionpub.com, and then at the top, one of the tabs says Marketing Know-How. Click there and click Start Here or Who and Why, and it'll take you to those free worksheets. It's a free download. I don't even ask for your email. I just look to help educate. When I consider my why and I follow my personal why, not necessarily my marketing why, my personal why is I love entrepreneurs and I love seeing them accomplish their dreams, become successful, have huge, businesses that grow to the point where they're so happy with it that they just can't even stand it. That's my primary goal. That's what I love to do. Even if they don't work with me, I just get excited about entrepreneurs doing great things. And so anyway, define your who, narrow it down to your minimum viable audience. Seth Godin always talks about that. And define your why. Your marketing why? Why do people do business with you? What makes that different and special? So once you've defined your who and why, then you want to set some goals. What are you trying to accomplish with your content? There's lots of different options here, but it could be you just want followers. It could be you want engagement, leads, phone calls. You want to establish yourself as an authority in the market. About a year ago, I started out with a goal to establish myself as an authority in the market. The primary reason was because I wanted people to trust that we could help them accomplish their goals and help them accomplish what they wanted with their marketing. Marketing's tricky because you can lose money in marketing. You can spend it on things that don't work, but there's also a lot of variables. And so it's hard to say, oh, well, that didn't work, or I tried that one time and it didn't go well, because sometimes maybe you didn't do it long enough. Sometimes it just takes a little bit more creative mastery to understand what people are looking for. Sometimes, honestly, it's just broken down to keywords. Did you find the right keywords and target the right audience with it? So setting some goals at the very beginning is crucial. We also have a where worksheet on that same page, so you can download it as well. And it just talks about how different types of advertising work and what they're best for. For example, I kind of break down marketing in two worlds. You have the lead generation world, which is somebody calls you or they come to your location if you're a retail location, or they fill out a form, email you something. That's a lead, right? That's someone who says they've raised their hand and said, I'm interested in doing business with you. On the other side, though, you have branding. And branding is where people are aware of your business. They know who you are, what you do, and sometimes where you're located. So on the branding side, it's important because it gives people access to the basics about your business. On the lead generation side, it generates leads, which of course, if you're good at closing the sale or completing the transaction with someone, then that becomes a lead. Okay. So branding and lead generation are both important, and each type of advertising is better at one or the other. Google, for example, if you're doing pay-per-click, that's awesome for lead generation because it's low-hanging fruit. Somebody's typing in, I need a new water heater. And if you pop up when they type that in, even if you paid to pop up, you have a pretty good likelihood that they're going to click on your content and want to do business with you. On the other side is lead generation. Being in my magazines, for example, in our local community is a great way to get your brand out there. Billboards are a great way to do branding. Now, Facebook's interesting because Facebook can be great for branding, but it can also be great for lead generation. So there's different tools that do different things in the marketing world. So knowing what you're trying to accomplish and then setting your goals around that is crucial. The next thing, you have to decide what's worth my time and what's not. There are endless channels for communication, for marketing, for content. Once you know what you want to do, stick with it for a long time. I read this morning about a marketing agency. You can imagine if you're a marketing agency like Connection Media or Connection Publishing, it's tricky to get SEO in your favor. Why? Because all of our competitors do SEO as well. And so they know how to do SEO. You have a big group of people who are all competing for the same amount of traffic. And so it takes years. In fact, this gentleman said it took him 10 years to rank high on SEO as a marketing company because there's so much competition. So whatever it is you decide to do, it's not that hard in most industries because most industries don't have specialists in that particular world vying for all the same traffic. So if you decide to blog, stick with blogging. Do it for the long term. If you decide to do a YouTube channel, stick with it for the long term. Make your decisions on where you're going to spend your time, where you're going to post things, what advertising avenues and things you're going to use, and then stick with it. Especially as you figure out who your who is, and you know that that who is spending their time in the channel or with the channel that you're utilizing for your advertising. So, for example, I got a customer or a potential customer talked to me a couple of days ago. They said, I'd like to know more about advertising in your magazines. They're great. And I said, thanks. What's your product? And it was a very specialized business-to-business product that would be sold to doctors. Here's the challenge with that. You think of a marketing channel as a funnel, right? You have all the people who specialize in what you want or who would be interested in your product, right? So you take the top of that funnel. You want as many people as you can at the top of that funnel. Well, my magazines go to a geographic area, so they're based on city locations. And I said, okay, so you have all of these people who live there. Then you have a group of people who read the magazine. It's never going to be everybody, right? Then you have of that a group of people who read the magazine who are also doctors that would be interested in that type of product. It's minuscule. So the magazines are not the right avenue or the right channel for that person to market in. Pay attention to who you're talking to and where they spend their time. Now, if my magazine was a medical magazine that doctors were going to read, that would be a different story. That'd be a different type of channel and a different target, and it might work better for that type of content. And there's ways to target almost any content that you can imagine out there. So choosing the right channel is important, and then choosing the right content is important. So the best way to do that is to do keyword research. Lots of tools for this. We use several tools, in fact. Some of my favorites are Ahrefs, ahrefs.com. We also use answerthepublic.com. We also use ubersuggest.com. And honestly, we use ChatGPT. We'll type in what are the top keywords for this industry and for this type of a company. And it is amazing. It'll spit out some great recommendations. Then you want to craft your content to match that group of people. And so once you've kind of crafted a content plan and you're like, okay, here are the things we could do. To give you an idea, when we have a copywriting customer, what we'll do is we'll say, okay, what are the top 4 to 20 things that you do? So if it was a plumber, fixing clogged drains, installing new toilets, installing new sinks, installing water heaters, go through the primary functions of a plumbing company and then look for the keywords in that world. What are people looking for when they need help with their water heater or if they need help with other plumbing issues? define the top 7, 8, 10, 12 topics that you could then cover. Then take those topics and break them down and say, okay, here's the things that we do. Here's what's good about the way we do it, or special, or just the fact that we offer it. And it's a a service we do for our customers, and just detail out everything you can about each of those individual product lines. Now, once you've done that, then you want to create a content calendar. So let's say you're going to blog once a week and you need 52 weeks worth of content then. That doesn't mean that you need 52 topics. That just means you can break down each topic and talk about different pieces of them. And you want to use keyword heavy content. So you want to research what the keywords are in the industry and put them in. If some of the keywords for your industry are brand names of particular products, so let's say there's a water heater company that people are searching for a lot. They've heard about this new technology and they want it. Maybe it's tankless, maybe it's something else. You can use the name of that brand or technology or whatever it is in your blog post, and you can say, here's the information about this brand. Here's why we like it. Here's why we use it or offer it. Or on the contrary, here's why we don't like it. They're really good at marketing, but maybe their product isn't stacking up to what we want it to be, and we don't like offering it because it doesn't deliver on what they say it's going to deliver. Using that keyword in your blog post can be crucial. Okay, so create a calendar where you plan out your entire year. 52 weeks worth of content. You can do it 3 months at a time, 5 months at a time, whatever. It doesn't matter. The playbook will help because sometimes you're like, we have a simple business, or electricians. Well, in the book, here's some ideas in February, Valentine's Day, love, hugs and kisses. Here's what you could say. Here's why people love us as their electrician. Here's why people love our store. Here's why people love our publications. Write about things that are trending, things that are hot in the market. So for example, right now it's August of 2023 and Barbie movie is all the rage. Everybody's excited about the Barbie movie, and it's a great topic. That's a trending topic that you could utilize in a post that talks about something that happened within the Barbie movie or the Barbie world. I grew up with 5 sisters. They wanted to play Barbie all the time. I always wanted to play with them because I didn't have any brothers, and if none of my friends were available, I wanted to play. And I always wanted to be the Corvette. They wanted me to be Ken, and I was like, I don't want to be Ken, I want to be the Corvette. And they were like, you can't be a car, but that's what I always wanted to do. So think about things that are relevant to your world. Think about things that make sense according to what's trending or what's happening just naturally in the calendar. Okay, and then follow that up with a solid plan that you will show up every time you say you're going to. So let's say you're going to do it weekly. You have to do it weekly. You can't be haphazard. If you can only do it monthly, do it monthly. Make a plan and stick to it. If you have to hire someone or outsource so that you can make it happen, I highly recommend it. Set a schedule. If you were watching a TV show, back in my day, watching TV, you had to show up at the right time, get to the TV and turn it on to watch your favorite show, or you would miss that episode and it would go away forever. And so today it's a little different because shows show up in a different way. Often they show up all at once and you can binge watch them. But if your favorite show was coming out once a week and then one week you turned on the TV and it just wasn't there, that would be very disappointing. And so think of it in that way. Your audience, the people you're talking to, they want to see you consistently and they want to hear from you consistently. In conclusion, you always want to check your work. Pay attention to what your audience likes. What do they respond to? What falls flat? What didn't do well? What do the metrics show? What are people clicking on and going through to? I have certain blog posts that just seem to grab attention. People want them and like them. And even months later, they continue to get traffic and they continue to get clicks and likes. People tend to really like those particular blog posts. So pay attention to that and then dig deeper on that particular subject because that's something that people are clearly interested in. Check your work. Make sure you do good quality. I always love the saying by Dan Kennedy, good is good enough. Next, make sure it's good. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to be good. So make something good, get it good, good's good enough. Now move on to the next thing. Because if you try to get it perfect, you'll spend all day, every day doing it. So in conclusion, what is content marketing? Content marketing is a marketing strategy that involves creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience, and then ultimately drive sales. How do you identify your target audience? Fill out the Who worksheet available at connectionpub.com. Click on Marketing Know-How and start here. And then how long does it take to see results from a content marketing plan? I think you need 3 to 6 months at least, but it also varies. As I said, the marketing company, it took them 10 years to get their SEO to start producing because there's so much competition in my world. There may not be as much in yours. You might be able to really perform well on an SEO plan just by being consistent with content. There's 2 pieces to SEO. One is the technical side, making sure you match what the search engines are looking for and the technical build of your website. But the biggest part is honestly just content. It's relevant, fresh, keyword-rich content that they can look at, their bots can look at and be like, okay, this is an authority. Let's move them up the list and make sure more people see them. And how do you measure the success of a marketing plan, a content marketing plan? Look at the results. Always watch your analytics, pay attention to your business, see what's happening, pay attention to the economy, because sometimes you might be marketing and you wanted bigger results, but it takes a little longer. That could be economic pressures. It could be a lot of things, but you'll decide, you'll analyze and adjust as you go. That's a big part of creating great content. So anyway, this is the Ryan Spelts podcast, Marketing Mind, and this is the first episode. So I'm excited. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully you got something out of this. Let me know if there's something that you want to hear more about. As I continue to do these, they will come out once a week. That's my commitment. I'll be making content once a week for anybody who's interested in learning more about marketing. Right now, you can sign up to come to a 10-week course with me if you're interested in one-on-one individual. One-on-one isn't right. It's going to be a group class, but it will be much more hands-on, where each of the attendees will go through my strategic marketing planning, defining who and why, all with me there to help walk through each of the steps. And then it's 10 weeks. It's going to be awesome. Each class will have a mastermind where we dig into each person's business and help them come up with solutions for some of the problems they're facing with their marketing, and really just give high-level training, agency-level training to everyday folks who are just trying hard to run a business and make things successful and leveling them up. So that's starting on September 13th. If you're interested in doing that, you can go to connectionpub.com and click on the menu link that says 10-week course and sign up there. Currently, there's a 40% reimbursement through Ogden Technical College and the Custom Fit program, which is awesome. You can get 40% off of the course cost reimbursed. So that's through the state of Utah, and it is awesome. I've used Custom Fit before, so I highly recommend it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.